listen along, right?
You can start by saying that.
Hi everybody and welcome back to another episode of Reviews on Tap with me, Nqanawe Live, and today we're going to be reviewing Spider-Man Far From Home. Spoiler-free, Spider-Man Far From Home. Alright, so Spider-Man Far From Home is the follow-up to... Is it really a follow-up to Spider-Man Homecoming? But it's the second official MCU Spider-Man film, that's what I can say for sure. After obviously Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man Homecoming, starring Tom Holland, Samuel L. Jackson, Jake Gyllenhaal. Wow, Jake Gyllenhaal. So just to start it off, number one, I love the movie. I like the movie. I know most people were obviously expecting me to say that. Some people expect me to not say that, but I really did love the movie. Just to give you a sort of an understanding where this movie takes place within the MCU timeline, it takes place immediately after Endgame. Yeah, not immediately, but it takes place safely after Endgame. So if you have any questions, now your questions are answered. If you've seen the trailers, you obviously know that. And then if you had any questions about what happened within the 5 years, the people were snapped away and then came back, how does that work, yada, because I know people like to blame Spider-Man movies for always messing up the MCU timeline. It's explained in the movie, don't worry, they took care of that, they thought about that pretty well. Anyways, getting into the movie itself, I liked it. Above everything else, I think one thing I really did enjoy are the performances. Obviously, first one being Tom Holland. Have I said before? I don't think I've said before on this channel, but I've been pretty vocal about the fact that Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man. He's my favorite Peter Parker. Even the movies are my favorite Spider-Man movies. And then there's Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, obviously being classic Nick Fury. I don't think there's anything much to say about Samuel L. Jackson in most movies. If you know him, you know him, right? And then obviously there's Jake Gyllenhaal, and then most people obviously had some qualms with Jake Gyllenhaal taking this, it's safe to say, blockbuster role, because we know him mostly for these nuanced indie roles that he usually takes. But I don't know why people are complaining about that, because it was actually awesome. Obviously they're not complaining about that. I think it's just overall actor integrity. But I'm happy with the role he's playing. I think he is happy with the role he's playing. He obviously took it. I was happy with this performance. I can't say much obviously without like giving away tons of information. So I'm just gonna say I was happy with Jake Gyllenhaal's performance. And then moving on from that, now let's get to the things I did like about the movie. The movie, now you can look at this as a good or bad thing. I look at it as both. It's both good and bad. The movie feels like two movies, but I like that. But for one main reason, the fact that it tells quite a lot within one movie. And I like the fact that they didn't choose to make it two separate movies and try to milk this entire thing, which is a good thing. If you can do it in one movie, do it in one movie. Don't be giving us unnecessary sequels and so forth and so on. But someone, even probably now that I look at it, I could have made it two separate movies. But it's one movie, so that's a good thing I liked about it, like how they managed to just make it a bit more efficient for everybody involved in the process. Moving on to the stuff I didn't like, still on the fact that it does feel like two movies. That's what I hate about it. It feels, you can tell where the one part of the movie ends and where the other part starts picking up, and then obviously it goes all the way to the end. So I don't like the fact that I can feel, like I can even visually tell that, okay, movie part 1 done, movie part 2 starting. It might not stand out to most of you, maybe not, but for me it was pretty evident that okay, this could have been two movies. Great thing it's not, but it could have been two movies, and I hate that I can see and feel that. So that's mostly what I didn't like. I'm pretty sure there are other things, if I were to nitpick, that I'm gonna say, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. But like I'm saying, I would honestly be nitpicking at this point. I am not saying the movie's perfect or flawless or anything. I just can't really put a finger on what I didn't like. I don't know where to rank the movie within the MCU films. I don't actually, it's pretty futile at this point. Like, who cares? Obviously, it goes without saying, go watch the other movies before you go watch this movie. The other MCU movies, not all of them obviously, but most of them. Just watch as many as you can, because it obviously, oh, here's one thing I also did, like, almost forgot. This movie, I was not looking forward to it. Many people were not looking forward to Spider-Man Far From Home, because most people hated Homecoming. I loved Homecoming, but I just didn't find anything that exciting about this film. I was gonna watch it obviously because I'll always eventually watch it. But what I realized is that when I was watching the movie, it made me, here's another thing I was also not interested in, Phase 4. Now that the OG 6 Avengers are kind of have died out, spoiler alert if you haven't watched Endgame, Iron Man dies and all the other ones are killed off. I was kind of like, well, I'm obviously gonna follow the MCU now, but I'm not as invested anymore in Phase 4. This movie made me become more like, I'm actually interested to see what's coming now. So that's one thing that made me even love this movie more. It's like, okay, I was gonna carry on for the sake of just, you know, because we watch movies, but now more like, now I really want to know what happens. So that's another thing that I really did like about this movie. It got me interested in itself when I was watching it, and then it got me interested in other stuff. It ties in, it does like almost like Endgame. It ties Phase 3, the ending of Phase 3, transitioning into Phase 4, getting you interested in other things that are about to come. So I feel like this is a very important film. It's a very transitional film also. So you probably do want to check it out. End credit scene, obviously we know Endgame had no end credit scene except for the re-release. This one does have 2 end credit scenes. There's one right a mid credit scene, and then there's one right at the end. Both of them, for me, according to me, are important and are very much enjoyable. Insightful, funny, interesting, thrilling, edge of the seat. Okay, maybe now it sounds like I'm overselling it, but for me, when I watched both end credit scenes, I was like, you know, when you watch end credit scenes, sometimes you're like, I could have missed that, don't really care. It's sort of like a joke or an inside joke, Nyana. Not with these two ones. These 2 end credit scenes are like, yeah, it's worth you sitting through the entire movie all the way to the end. So that's basically about it, guys. I like Spider-Man Far From Home. I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it. I know many people are still torn about the fact that, we don't like this new Spider-Man, yada yada. Yeah, get over yourself. I like this movie. I'm now more interested in seeing what's going to happen in Phase 4. Yeah, that's basically about it. So the movie's coming out on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Friday the 5th of July. Tomorrow, if this video is up by then, go check it out. If you've managed to be part of some screening, tell me how you felt about the movie. Are you looking forward to the movie if you haven't seen it? And if you've seen the movie, if you've seen the review, come back, tell me, comment down below. How do you feel about the movie and so forth and so on. Apart from that, that's basically about it, guys. Next week, we're supposed to upload an episode of Reviews Untitled podcast this week, but some technical issues were being faced. So look out for another podcast next week. Support, like I said before, support our thingy, our sisters in crime, sisterhood. Support Reviews Untitled podcast, please, guys. Go check my channel for any new content. South African film, local film. Oh yes, role models. Check out role models. I don't need to tell you anything about role models. You guys already know. Check out role models. Comment, subscribe, like, share. Yeah, that's basically about it, guys. I'll see you on the next video episode. Yeah.